Speaking of Paul Gosar, okay, as we mentioned yesterday, retweeted the same violent video minutes after he was censored for that video, and so we put a giant what did we put, a D in the sky, and David Gosar contacted us, and he joins us now. Good morning, David. Paul's brother, David, who is one of the many outspoken Gosar siblings. Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, Steph.
Good morning. Good. And now we were saying your audio went fluey on Joy Reid, so now we want to hear everything you were going to say.
Or maybe not.
No, I do. Well, listen, we've all probably talked everything we know how to talk about your brother as you have with other people, but I have to ask you, you've seen all the speculation on Twitter. I don't mean this in a cruel way, if there is something truly wrong with him physically or mentally, because there appears to really be something wrong with him. And I just was curious. I know you guys haven't been in contact, but what is wrong with him? Seriously, I don't mean that in a cruel way.
Well, I know, Steph, and I've heard those same, read those same speculations, and I've had professionals also speculate along those lines too. Everything from Parkinson's disease to a severe drug addiction. Yeah. And I truly don't know. I mean, what was interesting, if you saw, he managed to hold it together a brief period of time when he was, addressing the censure motion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But then he went back to his office and he got on Getter, which I'd never even heard of Getter.
Yeah.
Some kind of site like Twitter or whatever. And he was a mess. Yeah. He gave this little address. I won't be cowed. I won't be intimidated.
That's what people were talking about, David. I hope you won't find this indelicate, but people were saying just his head movements and I know I've heard everything from antipsychotic medicines to, but you don't, I mean, is there a history? Has he been treated for mental illness? Do you know any of that or a physical ailment that we don't know of?
I don't know. And he's hiding it. I mean, he denies there's anything wrong with him. And there is, and, I had his wife suggest to me years ago that there was something seriously wrong with him. She wouldn't tell me what it was.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, I'm not being I'm not being hyperbolic, David, when I say I'm actually afraid for AOC and other of his targets, because he just seems deeply unwell. And I just wonder if there's something big we're missing. He's obviously in the garden variety crazy caucus with Marjorie Taylor Greene and, Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz. But they're just also, I think enough people now have commented that you've heard that something seems way off with him. And I'm just, curious what you...
Yeah, he's deranged right now. And I don't know how much he's actually in control now or if he's just the puppet of somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, but the chilling thought is, if they do take back the House, which there's indications right now that they will, and he gets to be head of the House Judiciary Committee, Oversight Committee, I mean, what kind of damage could he do?
Oh my God, David. And yesterday, Kevin McCarthy, who clearly is so desperate, yesterday, he came right out and said, oh yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar will get their committees back, and maybe even better committee assignments. And then, they went on to say he went on to strongly suggest that they will pull Maxine Waters, Ilhan Omar, and more from their committee assignments. So it will be pure rage and vengeance and just honestly psychosis if your brother is running some committee.
Oh, the whole party now just wants to tear everything down. They have no intent on good governance. They don't put forth any ideas as to this is what we're going to do for the American people. They just want to wreck things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they want to do that, they can do it. They could hamstring the economy. They could defund the DOJ unless all investigations are stopped, or they could say, look, we're not going to fund the government because all appropriations have to come through them first until you do X, Y, Z.
Well, they'll do what they've always done. They'll investigate their enemies based on nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm reading this piece about, to stand out in the muddle of conspiracy theory and fury that defines this group, Green and Boebert and Gates and Cawthorn, requires finding a niche within a niche. Where was this piece? Washington Post about your brother. Gosar was lucky he was the central animating issue for the fringe of the moment, where false claims about the 2020 election unfolding in his state, in Arizona. Gosar was linked to the most ridiculous of the claims about the election in Arizona. His chief of staff, Thom Van Flein, was alleged to have participated in a late-night surveillance of a Korean airplane purportedly ferrying ballots. I hadn't even heard that conspiracy theory yet.
My God.
It's new to me. And it impresses upon the need for the Department of Justice to get things going. And, I heard your interview with Joy Vance, and, she's a nice lady, but, I've worked in this field for 30 years too. And I can tell you, she's an ex-DOJ official or, attorney.
Yeah.
She has an affinity for it. She wants to sort of protect them.
Yeah.
That's not right. You don't need to wait till the new DOJ appointed head of that department to come in. Think about it. A murder gets committed, and you're going to say, we can't indict because we got to wait till the new DOJ, head of the office comes in. That's not how it works. You don't even need to go for misdemeanor cases. You don't even need to go to a grand jury. You can file an information to do that. So, it could have happened like that. That he would have been indicted.
Oh, you're talking about Bannon.
Bannon.
Yeah.
They're clearly dragging their feet.
Yeah.
There's no question. And if they drag their feet too much more, we're going to get into next year's. Oh, well, it's political. Now we can't do anything.
I'm going to
take the House, and they stop the investigations, and nothing's done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an urgency here.
Yeah. Well, that's why I hope it ends up being, a special prosecutor or something that is not going to matter which way the House goes. But, you said something, and I'm going to guess it's because you listened to me. You said to the Washington Post, these House trolls, they all have to one-up each other. That's what they are. Your brother's in the troll caucus. That's all they do 24/7. You said he noted his brother blamed his staff for the video, which, of course, all these cowards blame someone else. But you said in addition to establishing his niche as a far-right member of Congress who gets how things work online, Gosar also sees this as being a tool to appeal to younger voters. Gosar claimed the video as part of his team's efforts to reach out to it. I guess, as I said yesterday, a newer generation of murderous, racist, misogynists. It is such a ridiculous thing, right? This violent video is supposed to appeal to younger people.
Oh, and that's preposterous. That wasn't intended to do that. That's just the excuse. Just imagine if you're back in the 1930s and a politician, before Hitler took power. Oh, I'm going to go talk to the Hitler Youth. I need to appeal to the young voters.
Yeah.
Come on. That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is getting the Hitler Youth demo. They're correct. That is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't where David, you're not in Arizona, or are you?
Wyoming.
I'm in Wyoming.
Oh, okay. Because I just thought this was the perfect, because like as you were talking about, he happened to in the crazy caucus, your brother happened to latch on to the crazy state in the crazy big lie, the Arizona thing. And so, but this story, Arizona investigators caught admitting they don't believe Trump's big lie and don't know how elections work. After months of pressure from former President Trump, Arizona Republican Attorney General's office recently lost an investigation of the 2020 election. Agents were caught on tape admitting they don't really believe the 2020 election was stolen and saying they lack basic knowledge about how the state's voting systems work. One of the audios, they asked one of the investigators, is your boss that desperate in his primary that he's going to push this bull narrative about a stolen election? The investigator responded, well, nobody's talking about a stolen election at all. What I would ask is what percentage of Republicans, and again, I don't feel your brother's in his right mind, no offense, but I don't know, does he really believe this? Or is he part of the cynical caucus that knows that there was no stolen election and this is just his troll niche?
With him, it's hard to say because I agree he's not in his right mind. And he talks himself into things he has his whole life, but he talks himself into things that always benefit Paul, So that's the right thing to do. But, coincidentally, Paul benefits because of that. And a lot of these people at the top don't believe this. Of course, it's just a big grip they're playing. But I'm going to tell you, because I live in Wyoming, it's as red as it can be. These people believe it.
Yeah.
They believe it's stolen. Okay.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. The polling shows a large majority, or at least a majority of Republicans believe it was stolen, based just on one guy, on Trump saying it. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
You can't, and you talk to him, you can't convince him of it.
Yeah.
And you could say, well, look, there were 60 court cases. You could just go down the line of the stuff that disproves it. Attorney General Barr said that there was no fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, you just keep going down, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you feel like you have to cite Trump's head of Homeland Security,
Right.
Trump's Attorney General, all the Trump judges in the 60 courts that said there was no fraud. But you're right; it just bounces off. They don't hear it.
You could have Trump caught on video saying this is all a big lie.
Corey
And then-
Lewandowski said he knows it's a big lie. Corey Lewandowski was quoted in the new John Carl book as saying he knew the night the networks called it that he lost.
Yeah, but you could not right now. You could have Trump himself say it, and then as long as he came back later and said, that's fake news."
Yeah, yeah,
They would just revert back to that.
yeah. Well, I don't, as a liberal helper, I hope your brother gets help if he needs it. Have you ever heard that saying about in Jaws about it, like a doll's eyes? He's kind of dead in the eyes. I don't know what's going on. Like a doll's eyes. I don't.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, Steph, maybe that's the only thing that will prevent McCarthy from putting him in a serious role.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
it'll look bad.
You'll appreciate the
I hope so.
You'll appreciate the comedy that Travis wrote into your show prep. It says David Gosar joins us to talk about the black sheep of his family. That's funny because calling a racist like Paul Black is even more triggering for him. That's funny.
That's clever.
That's funny. Yeah, don't call him a black sheep.
No.
But really, Steph, he's the only one. We got, there's 10 siblings.
Yeah, I know.
He's the one that had to get elected to Congress.
Yeah.
Before he was running, I hadn't had a falling out with him. There was no acrimony. There was no argument as an adult. But nevertheless, when he was running, I was thinking, oh my God. And then I thought, well, he won't win.
Right.
And then my other brother said, no, he's probably going to win. I go, oh, this is going to be bad.
Oh, man.
I mean, so even before this all happened, it's kind of baked into his character to go off the rails.
Where is he in the lineup of the 10? What age?
He's the firstborn.
Oh, he's the oldest. Okay.
Yeah.
As most serial killers. I mean,
Stephanie.
older siblings are. Okay. But anyway, what was he growing up? Was he a bully? He was normal growing up, and then what?
Pretty much, he didn't. He was a person who didn't strictly adhere to the truth in our family.
No.
I mean, he had that reputation.
Oh, look, there's spin even in the family. Let's not call him a liar.
Yeah, he's taking that to a whole nother level now.
Yeah.
But normal upbringing. There was nothing.
Yeah.
We had a great childhood. There, we were blessed to be in that family.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Now there goes the nature nurture argument. I guess he was born this way.
Nah.
Oh, don't say that. Then we'll think we're calling him gay. Okay. David, call us anytime. Always nice to check in with you. And thanks for reaching out because it's we're all going through this together. And by the way, we all have. I can't go into mine, but we all have family stuff. Believe me. It's just.
Yeah.
And I think Trump has just fractured this country in a way that I'm not sure how we repair it. But.
I agree, Steph. It's not a pleasant thing for any of us to go through. But like my sister said the other night, everybody has a duty at this point to speak out because this is a 5-alarm fire. And if everybody doesn't bring all hands on deck, we're in serious trouble.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of us have seen it in our own family and friends where, you used to be able to be funny and, have differences of opinion about politics. And it's just, I do date it to Trump where it got really, really ugly and personal. And I can say that from a personal point of view. So I feel your pain. We are kindred spirits.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Love you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Oh, my God.
Stephanie.
I said Paul and you said Paul. That's the worst
Because
name you could
said
call
Paul.
him.
David.
Oh, my God. David Gosar, thank you so much. We
Thank
suck.
you, guys.
We suck. All
Yes,
right,
okay.
Thank you.
Take
Goodbye.
care. Bye.
David. What's wrong with you?
I didn't say it. You said it.
Oh
What do you
my
mean, what's wrong with you?